The old cabin in the woods was the perfect spot for a weekend getaway. Rachel, Mark, Sarah, and Tom had decided to spend their summer break there, far away from the bustle of the city. On their first night, after dinner and a few drinks, they gathered around the fireplace to play a game of truth or dare. The mood was light-hearted as they shared embarrassing truths and completed silly dares. The fire crackled, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The night wore on, and the dares became bolder, the truths more revealing. Rachel dared Tom to go outside and howl at the moon, and everyone laughed as his voice echoed through the trees. Just as Tom re-entered the cabin, the lights flickered and went out, plunging them into total darkness. The sudden blackness was disorienting, and they could hear each other's breathing, quick and shallow. Rachel's nervous laughter was cut short by a sharp, chilling scream that pierced the silence. The lights came back on after 10 agonizing seconds. Sarah was sprawled on the floor, blood pooling around her, her eyes wide open in a final, terrified gaze. The group froze, horror-stricken, as the realization sank in. Someone or something had killed Sarah in the dark. Panic set in. Mark rushed to check the windows and doors, but they were all locked from the inside. There was no sign of an intruder. Rachel sobbed uncontrollably, while Tom stood motionless, his face pale. "Who did this?" Rachel screamed, her voice cracking. "Who killed Sarah?" Tom and Mark looked at each other, fear and suspicion in their eyes. "It wasn't me," Tom stammered. "I swear I didn't move." Mark backed away, his mind racing. "We need to get out of here, now!" But as they moved towards the door, the lights flickered again, and the cabin was once more plunged into darkness. This time, the blackness seemed to stretch on forever. They clung to each other, every second feeling like an eternity. When the lights finally came back on, Tom was gone. His body was found in the kitchen, throat slit, blood dripping from the counter. Rachel and Mark stared in horror, realizing they were trapped in a nightmare they couldn't wake up from. "We have to stay together," Mark whispered, his voice trembling. "Whatever it is, it can't get both of us at the same time." They huddled together in the center of the room, eyes darting to every shadow. The minutes crawled by, each one filled with dread. The silence was suffocating, broken only by their ragged breaths. Suddenly, the lights flickered once more. Rachel screamed and clung to Mark as the darkness enveloped them. Her grip on his arm was the only thing grounding her in the abyss. When the lights came back, she was alone. Mark's body lay lifeless beside her, his face twisted in pain. Rachel was now the only one left. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the sinister truth. Something in the cabin was hunting them, one by one. She stumbled towards the door, her only thought to escape this place of death. As she reached for the handle, the lights flickered again, and she knew her time was up. The darkness swallowed her scream, leaving the cabin silent once more, save for the crackling of the dying